I notice that whenever I clear something within my own field and within my own ancestry and within my own like limiting beliefs, when I clear it and heal it for myself, I then start to notice that a lot of other people are clearing and healing it for on a massive scale, and I start to notice you know, the my new beliefs reflected back to me. So I don't know if I'm like prophesying, you know, what's being cleared in the collective, or if I'm manifesting it. What's up, Soul Fam? Sundial from Substance Over Style, and welcome to a new video. So today I thought it's been a week or two since we have talked about, no, it actually hasn't. Yeah, no, it has been it's been 2 weeks since we talked about the hieros gamos. The last video was the interview I did with Soma Miller. If you haven't watched that one, really watch that one, because I kind of talk a lot about, I know you guys have been really enjoying the videos talking about masculine and feminine, and the false and the true archetypes of masculinity and femininity. So that video, that interview, we went in kind of deep, talking about it in terms of like what is the divine masculine and what is the divine feminine. So I wanted to get more into that today, because I've been having a couple of conversations on the gram and on Facebook with people about this, and I wanted to clear up some misconceptions which I thought were obvious. You know, people use these terms divine masculine, divine feminine, so I assume that when they're using the term they know what it means, but what people are saying clearly indicates to me that they don't fully understand what the words actually mean. Okay, so I posted this picture. This is I'll put the real picture on my Instagram. It's just from a shoot that I did for Harper's Bazaar with Arjun Kapoor, who, if you don't know, he's a Bollywood actor, and just the caption, all lower masculine codes falling away now, because that's what I'm picking up, that's what I'm noticing in the collective. It's so interesting because I don't know if it's because, I don't know if I notice that whenever I clear something within my own field and within my own ancestry and within my own like limiting beliefs, when I clear it and heal it for myself, I then start to notice that a lot of other people are clearing and healing it for on a massive scale, and I start to notice you know, my new beliefs reflected back to me. So I don't know if I'm like prophesying, you know, what's being cleared in the collective. You know how, like, you know, in the fashion industry you'll have like trend forecasters who will be able to like predict what the trends are, or if I'm manifesting it. And I think it's both, actually, because this is what happens when you clear something, when you heal something for yourself. You shift into a different reality, like you shift into a new band of frequency. It's like an algorithm. I spoke about this in my video, The Wounded Feminine. So you have, like, let's say, for example, if you keep on looking at certain things on your Pinterest or on your Instagram, you know, you're always looking at, you know, pictures of, you know, a certain type of person. Let's say you're always looking at pictures of like mixed race girls, and that's what you like to see. You know, you're looking at, you know, their style, their fashion, their beauty. That's what the algorithm will continue to show you. Or you're an architect, you keep on looking at pictures of buildings and a particular style of like maybe brutalist architecture. The algorithm will continue to show you that. Our reality works in the same way. We have an algorithm which is our frequency, and it will continue to show us what our beliefs are. It's kind of like the Neville Goddard principle, everyone is you pushed out. So yeah, and what I'm noticing is as I've cleared a lot of the lower masculine codes that were permeating my consciousness, i.e. beliefs about the masculine and beliefs about not just, because obviously I know what the divine masculine is. I've been researching these principles for a really long time. I also know what the fallen masculine is, and I had this belief that, you know, everybody was embodying fallen masculine principles, particularly those who embody more of the masculine, i.e. men. As soon as I started working on that belief and clearing that belief, I start seeing a lot of divine masculine showing up just in my field, just in, you know, a lot of, I mean, because I actually have not been going out that much because we've been in lockdown in the UK, and I don't really go out that much in winter anyway. I'm seeing just so much divine masculine coming online. So I kind of put this caption, and then somebody, I'm not sure who it was, somebody was like, who commented on it? Not that person. Ilitsia Singh, lower masculine codes falling away, how, why, astrology influenced, ? And I just said, don't know astrology, just look around, sis, divine DM awakening, divine masculine awakening big time now. And for me, it's because I was seeing, especially with the lockdown in the UK, so many divine masculines actually stepping up to speak truth to power, because the divine masculine is about courage. He's about being a defender, a protector, a supporter, standing, you know, standing up to control systems. To me, that's what the divine masculine represents, because he's courageous, you know, he's a warrior. But that gets, those principles get exploited by control systems and inverted into the kind of military systems that we see today, where they exploit those principles of wanting to, like, you know, do an honorable thing and stand up for women and children in your country by various false flags and other things that, you know, control systems will use to get young men to give up their lives to go and kill poor people in other countries. So, you know, understand how those, you know, inherent human principles get exploited by those who want to keep people divided. So, and then she goes, and this is where I think the distortion and people not understanding this comes in. She goes, oh yes, it is. And I also feel very strongly the divine feminine is coming through. I think there's quite a few astrological pointers towards it right now. And I said, DF been here for a while now. DM is coming online now. He couldn't till she did, but she also can't fully till he does. It's a constant balancing act. So, you know, when, obviously I'm not saying that she doesn't understand these principles, but maybe she does. But if the divine masculine is coming online, the divine feminine is also coming online, because these two energies cannot be divine unless they are integrated. That's what the hieros gamos is. The hieros gamos means, it basically means sacred union, or it means sacred marriage, alchemical wedding. It's the Ida and the Pingala, and this is why I keep telling you to join my Kriya membership, because the Kriya yoga will help you balance these two energies. Because when you're polarized within yourself, you either go into your wounded feminine energy, which is I'm a victim, other people have power over me, I need to manipulate to get what I want, I have no self-worth, no self-esteem, all of that wounded feminine codependency, and then that leaves a vacuum for a toxic masculine to be reflected externally, because that's the state of your own masculine energy, and your beliefs around the masculine, that you're a victim to him, he's a victimizer. You know, you need to manipulate him to get you know, the love that you want, because you're not integrated within yourself and you don't give it to yourself. So that's what becomes reflected outside, and that's what we see on a macro level with society, which I talked about in my video, The Wounded Feminine and the Virus in Her Crown, where she keeps giving her sovereignty away because she has no masculine integration. So the divine masculine has to be integrated with the feminine principle of care and compassion. Otherwise, the courage, the ability to be a defender, supporter, protector becomes inverted, and then he goes and wages war on innocent people and sovereign nations that didn't do anything wrong, because he can't discern truth, because those energies are not balanced. Because when you balance those energies, they cross at the Ajna chakra, the third eye, and that's what helps you discern the truth. Otherwise you get too easily manipulated. You see, oh look, this terrorist attack, and you don't, like, most people who can actually see the truth can see, you know, a false flag. They can recognize it when they see it. So somebody else on Facebook that I know made a really powerful post about, you know, the divine unions that are coming together at this time, people who are integrated in their divine feminine and their divine masculine fully and not polarized within themselves, coming together to make change. Watch the interview that I did with Soma Miller, because I talk in more detail about that and why, you know, people being integrated has been, you know, targeted, and why the society that we live in particularly targets masculine and feminine energies and distorts them. Because when people are integrated, they can make massive change. So this status was about that, and the guy was saying, you know, divine masculine is coming online now. There are so many men who are awakening into their divine masculine, and they cannot integrate into their divine masculine without integrating their feminine aspect. Okay, that's what the divine masculine is. He's integrated in service and devotion to the feminine, and vice versa. Okay, it works both ways. Just like the yin and the yang, they are together in one, and they contain elements of each other. There's masculine in the feminine and feminine in the masculine, and this works with all principles of duality. So he made that post, the divine masculine is coming online, and we're going to be the defenders of the feminine. We're going to speak up against these control systems that, you know, everything that's going on right now, those of you who know. And then somebody was just like, someone commented on it, and we got into such a debate because she clearly didn't know what she was talking about. She was just like, no, the divine feminine needs to rise. The divine masculine has been here for too long. He's been controlling everything. Now we need the divine feminine. And it's just like, sis, divine masculinity cannot exist without feminine integration. That's what the divine masculine is. He's integrated with the primary principle of care and compassion in service to the feminine. That's what that's implied by the term divinity. What we've seen before was not divine masculinity. It was inverted masculinity. It was toxic masculinity. It was a system of masters and slaves. And it wasn't just a masculine paradigm. It was an imbalanced masculine paradigm, and it was an imbalanced feminine paradigm, because everybody was in wounded feminine. Now we're seeing integration as people awaken, right? So they come together. That's the hieros gamos. So as divine masculine comes online, divine feminine comes online as well. Divine feminine has been coming online for a long time anyway, as she's been integrating with her masculine. And the feminist movement was part of this. Now, I do feel like the feminist movement has been completely hijacked, and I will talk about that in another video. But the feminist movement was about pulling women out of their wounded feminine into their masculine, because masculine integration was required. So being able to provide for themselves, being able to stand up for themselves. You know, a woman needs to embody her own masculine energy in order to be a queen. That's what sovereignty is all about. It's about having both energies balanced, so you are, you know, an integrated, self-realized person. So now it's swinging too far the other way, because if you studied Hermeticism, you understand that the swing of the pendulum to the left is always equal to the swing of the pendulum to the right. So if women as a collective were in extreme wounded feminine energy, they are going to swing all the way to wounded masculine energy. This is why, and I've had this conversation with some of my clients who have gone from relationships with narcissists. As they've come out of that relationship and healed from the narcissistic abuse, they then get into a relationship with somebody who is codependent, and then they become the narcissistic partner. And it's a constant balancing act. So the pendulum will always eventually seek equilibrium. Okay, so the feminist movement is now gone, and now we're seeing all of this, you know, feminine embodiment and feminine awakening, and awaken the divine feminine, and all the feminine energy teachings are now going like too far that way. So this is why I teach hieros gamos, because it's about proper integration and being balanced and centered, okay, not swinging too far, you know, either way. So you can be in your feminine energy, but, you know, unless you're in your divine feminine, you have to have, in order to be in your divine feminine energy, you have to have that proper masculine integration, which is your boundaries, it's your courage, it's your ability to activate your throat chakra and speak truth. So if a man is leading you, because leadership is a masculine principle, in a direction that you don't want to go, you just say, no, I'm not comfortable with that, because you're embodied, right? So you're in touch with your emotions. I'm not comfortable with the direction that we're going. I would prefer this. And then because he's integrated with his feminine energy, care, compassion, he cherishes your feelings as the feminine, his feminine counterpart. So he goes, okay, we'll go in this direction then. If he doesn't, then you fuck him off, you know, like, bye-bye, see you later, next please. So even though the masculine leads, the feminine steers, but he needs to mirror back your own internal masculine. So you need to have your own masculine, you need to have your own leadership, your own provision, all of that stuff. So in terms of the masculine that's coming online now in the UK, oh my God, the UK right now is like, literally I feel like is the center of divine masculine awakening. Maybe I'm biased because, you know, I'm here in the UK, but other people that I know who are kind of tuning in to what's happening with the collective are also reporting that back to me. Because the lockdowns here at the moment have been so intense, we're now seeing a type of masculine that a lot of the, you know, people on, you know, the left end of the spectrum, you know, people who tend to be a little bit right brain and balanced, and politically left leaning, wounded feminine energy would call toxic masculine, but it looks like toxic masculine to those who are not in their sovereignty and keep blaming other people for their problems. Not saying that other people aren't responsible for things that they've done. If those of you who've been following my channel for a long time know that I'm very like anti-colonialist and holding those accountable for their crimes and things that they've done to humanity. So it's not about that, you know, that, you know, you it's your fault if you were victimized. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that, like, you are responsible for your own life, so take your power back and integrate your own masculine and stand up and say, no, this is not okay. So loads of men are now coming online, not just men, but even women I've seen are, you know, are basically standing up to the powers that be. You know, a lot of these lockdowns are completely, I mean, we don't have a constitution here, but they would be unconstitutional. They're against the Magna Carta, they're against universal law principles, they're against natural law, they're against common law even, which is the law of the land. But most of the laws and the legalese that they use to kind of manipulate people into giving their crowns away in this country is based on maritime law. So people, you know, if you're a business owner, then you really need to kind of get up on these things. I will post a couple of links in the description box below on people you can follow if you want to study these principles further, because it is really needed at this time of great change that we're going through. But yeah, feminine and masculine integration I feel like is really key to all of it. Not saying that you should just study feminine and masculine, you should study whatever you're studying, but, you know, understand that these certain energies are at play, and by, you know, understanding how these energies work, you can know if you're being pulled off center. I mean, some people will talk about these principles and not even call it masculine or feminine, and that's fine. You know, I understand that labels can be sometimes restrictive, especially because, you know, sometimes things aren't one thing or the other, especially when it comes to, you know, divine masculine and divine feminine, because when they're in balance and in union, they are very similar. So, I mean, you know, yeah, so I think that's it. Like, I think that's all I've covered. If you've got any questions, then feel free to ask me any questions if you know, anything that I said wasn't clear. As always, I'm available for sessions. My Kriya membership is available. I recommend you sign up now at the current price, because you'll get grandfathered in at $22.22. I will be raising the price in a couple of days, because there's now 7 lessons in the portal, as soon as you join, you get access to all of them. So, you know, I need to make it fair for everybody. There's people who've been there since week 1 paying that money every month. As always, once it's finished, it will be available as an evergreen product. So, you know, if you are watching this in the future, you know, I'll update it with a new link where you can buy it as an evergreen product. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.
You're introduced to LSD, and unless you've taken some other drug, like for instance, like marijuana or something, well, you know, it's an altogether new thing, and you actually can have a religious experience.